really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No! I am your host. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You're going to need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. We appreciate it. Here we are together again on the radio, and the excitement is mounting. That's right. The minute I step into the studio, the minute I crack open this microphone, the minute I burp my first syllable into the mic, everything stops dead cold. In my imagination. Anyway, thank you for being part of the program. I appreciate your patronage. And looking at a story from USA Today, and there are many people who write to me about this subject because it kind of relates to stuff we frequently talk about. But rarely does a newspaper like USA Today write about this. This is from Washington, D.C. It is not just men who hit women. Women hit men, too. And the latest research shows that ignoring the role women play in domestic violence does both women and men a disservice. Hallelujah! Somebody finally said that. Says here, there is little doubt that women get hurt more than men. She may slap him, but then he may hit her harder or more often. By not understanding the mutual role they often play, women are at great risk for injury, new studies show. Still, the new findings challenge the feminist belief that, quote, it is only men who cause violence, says psychologist Deborah Capaldi of the Oregon Social Learning Center. That is a myth. Right on. The number of women who hit first or hit back is, quote, much greater than has been generally assumed, Capaldi says. She says she is surprised by the frequency of aggressive acts by women and by the number of men who are afraid of partners who assault them. Capaldi and two other female researchers call for a reevaluation of treatment programs nationwide. Such programs focus on men and ignore women. Men are court-ordered into some type of rehabilitation, and their women are told in support groups or shelters that they had nothing to do with the violence, Capaldi says. You know what? Every argument, every dispute, every confrontation in a relationship, there's a yin and a yang. There is a cause and effect. And it is not wrong to say so. I find it hard to believe that there are people who wake up in the morning and say, I think I'm going to go punch my wife in the face. For no particular reason. By the same token, it should be said that punching anybody in the face is wrong. It's wrong. But you got to wonder about the serial victims we have in this country. How many times have you known a woman who's a victim of domestic violence? Over and over and over and over again. Women who get involved with very bad boys over and over and over. Don't you think that plays some part in violence? This is clearly the kind of person who somehow feels comfortable in a situation where there is violence. Maybe she grew up with violence. Maybe she saw her mother getting hit by her father, or her father getting hit by her mother. Who knows? Maybe she grew up in a tough neighborhood. I don't know. You know, it's one thing to inadvertently get hooked up with a maniac, but people who do it over and over and over are sick. And yet we have a system that says the men need help and the women don't. I speak from experience. I went through one of these rehab programs. And I don't shy away or hide from it. I went through one of these programs. Another one of these state-run programs, much like drunk driving school or traffic school. And you know how good those programs are. Yes, the state of California also has domestic violence program. And after a shoving match with an ex, I went into one of these programs for 6 months where every Saturday morning at 7:30 I was to show up at some industrial park in Van Nuys where a lesbian feminist sat with a group of drug addicts, alcoholics, hardcore criminals, and me, and lectured us on how bad we were and how violent we were and how women don't deserve violence and how women did nothing to cause it. And by the way, I was told that until I admitted that I did this, I would not get out of the class. So essentially, I had to lie to get out. I had to. Otherwise, I'd be coming to Van Nuys at 7:30 every Saturday morning for the rest of my life, essentially, I was told. So, of course, to prove I was not in denial, I had to admit that I did something that I never did. Did I have a shoving match with my ex? You bet I did. Yes, I did. Was it stupid? Yes. But in order to avoid getting stuck in the bureaucracy that is the state of California and its attempts to re-educate those of us who are delinquent, I had to say, oh, yes, I'm a violent individual. Yes, I perform violent acts. I had to say it, and I did. But I can tell you now, 10 years later, I was lying. I didn't do it. And I was never found guilty of doing it, by the way, but in order to get out of the class, I had to say I did. So I did. And the proof is in the pudding. 10 years later, I haven't been arrested again. I haven't committed any violent acts. I haven't even had a shoving match with anybody. Nothing. But I had to lie to get out. And it's because they have these programs where the men are at fault and the women are not at fault. That's the bottom line. You know, it's the women are not provoking. Women are not in any way causing this. They're just sitting around twiddling their thumbs, minding their own business, and we big bad men come along and beat the crap out of them. That's how these rehabilitation programs are set up. The result is you have a lot of mentally ill women out there who like to be with guys who beat the crap out of them. And the system's doing nothing for them. And I've been saying this for 10 years since I went through the experience myself. And it warms my heart to see USA Today talking about this. The story continues. It says that this woman in Oregon, Deborah Capaldi, says that prevention and treatment should focus on managing conflict and aggression for both young men and young women. Each needs to understand the role they both play while still putting a special responsibility on the man who can inflict greater injury. And by the way, I'm not necessarily convinced of that, since I believe women use weapons more often. Whether it be knives or forks or broken glass or whatever, or pots, pans, and other household items. I believe it's entirely possible that a woman can inflict just as much injury as a man. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. Let's ask Lorena Bobbitt who can cause more injury, a man or a woman. Says here that the three women quoted in the story did different studies but presented them as a team recently to a conference sponsored by the Society for Prevention Research. And it goes on to say that the researchers emphasize they are not blaming women. We're not saying anybody's at fault, says Miriam Aronsaft of Columbia University, but new data is emerging that says women are also involved in aggression. If we do not tell women that, we put them at risk. Meanwhile, of course, would you be surprised at the next sentence? Rita Smith of something called the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence is not convinced that men are afraid of abusive women. That fear is a critical factor in any domestic violence situation, and the abuse is part of an ongoing pattern to control someone else's behavior. By the way, controlling behavior? Who is involved in more controlling behavior than women, who once they get us signed to a contract, that being a marriage certificate, can then tell us, if you don't do what I want, I'm going to take you for everything you got. Who is controlling? Who is controlling? A woman can take you to the cleaners, Jack. You signed the contract, she can take what you got. You don't call that controlling? You'll never see your kids again. You don't call that controlling? Bitch. Murray Strauss, co-director of the Family Research Lab at the University of New Hampshire, has found both men and women are involved in physical aggression, but he emphasizes injury rates are not the same. The likelihood of an injury to a woman requiring medical attention is much greater, he says. Men cause more damage. Baloney. Men are less likely to get treated because they're embarrassed that the little lady was able to cut them. I don't think it's any less likely that a guy is injured. I think it's less likely the guy goes to the hospital. Take me to the domestic violence unit. I've been hurt by my husband. How many men would do that? How many do? And the story goes on, but what's the point of reading a newspaper story to you? You get the idea. You know what's going on here. Let's find out what you think.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
I banged my girlfriend in the A, and she was passed out drunk.
That's terrible. You didn't get any enjoyment out of this, did you?
Oh, me? Oh, heavens no, heavens no. Of course, I didn't take any pictures of that either.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
Leykis on Hot Talk 1080 KOTK.
Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM. Here's our telephone number. David on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello?
Is that a question or a statement, David?
Don't know yet.
Okay.
Anyways, well, first of all, when I heard about you last year, in like December, you were talking about, if you love someone, you'd make it work.
Yeah.
And, well, me and my lady, we were broken up maybe at like October, last year. Mm-hmm. And, I called you and you were giving me advice, just forget about her, let it be, whatever. So then I heard your topic and you said if you love someone, you got to make it work. So I went over there to try to apologize one day, and I looked through the window and she's effing some guy. And I was like, I started rage, I started banging on the door. She came outside and she started beating me up.
Wait a minute, you had broken up with her?
Yeah, it was a breakup, whatever, but, I was, like mad or whatever of the situation. And I don't know, it just something got into me. I started, just causing a lot of chaos. And
well, what right did you have to do that?
I don't know, man. When you see something like that,
Yeah, but you broke up with her.
Yeah, I understand.
What's she supposed to do?
I ain't supposed to do nothing. Now that I'm taking these assault battery classes, now I kind of like regret everything,
What do you regret?
Well, first of all, she came outside. I guess she hyperventilated because she acted like she fainted on the floor. So I got like the water hose. I sprayed her with it. She got up. I spit at her, but she was beating me up even when she came outside. So we went to court. Like the cops got there, and she said, she goes, okay, well, what happened? And I told her, you know what? She came outside. I just came here to apologize, try to work things out. But she came outside with the bat. She started beating me with it. She started scratching me and everything like that. And even the neighbors saw everything. Now the neighbors against me because I guess they're only neighbors and stuff.
But you didn't hit her?
No, I didn't hit her not one time. All I did was...
Come on, you told me you did when you first called. That's what you said.
No. I started banging on the door and everything. I never beat her up. I never hit her at all. Not one time.
Didn't push her?
Didn't push her, didn't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All I did was spit at her, and that's it. I got charged.
Which, by the way, is illegal.
It's illegal, yeah, I know.
You found that out, I guess.
Yeah, And, yeah, but, I mean, I showed her, like, the pictures or anything like that. Like, she hit me before I even did anything. All I did was, you know what? You know, I'm glad I found this out, you know, everything like that, or whatever. I was just, you know, telling her off. I was calling her all these names and all that, but she came up to me and she just started, like, you know, she picked up anything she can think of, you know. She threw chairs at me, whatever, you know.
By the way, for the record, I never said that if you were 20, you should work things out with your girlfriend. I said under 25, you don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah, get serious, I know, but, you know, you have a child. I have a child with a 3-year-old child.
Which I probably gave you crap for back then.
Yeah, you do. You told me, what are you doing having a child at 16?
Right.
Yeah, I know. You punished me for that, man.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, man, I took your advice, you know, and everything like that, and I try to work things out, but you know what? Hey, you know, I'm happy single. I'm better off this way, you know?
Good.
And, but man, dude, it's like I have to pay $3,000 to go to all these classes. As a matter of fact, I have to go today and just pay my, you know, $30. You know, all you do is sit in a room, and you don't even learn anything, man. All they try to do is just attack the men even more.
Yeah.
Like saying, you know what, but sometimes...
Is your class taught by a feminist?
It's just, all it is, yeah, the girl, the lady, you know, it's all guys, and then you got the lady, you know, as an instructor. All she does is attack guys, like saying, oh, well, you should have done this. You should have called her a bitch, and you should have done this or whatever, you know. It's like you should keep your mouth shut the next time. It's like, okay, if you don't tell the girl, you know, what your problem is or anything, what bugs you about her, you know, you're just going to get more angry about it and then actually even strike her, you know. Like, there's this guy in it that all he did was he was sitting at home.
Yeah.
His girlfriend came in, you know, in the door and started, you know, throwing everything around, you know, with no reason. And he got arrested for it when she went over his house. You know what I mean? And started chaos. He didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
But, you know what, it's so messed up, like, how we have to go through everything. And the girls, man, they could just get away. Like, I even showed the judge, look, this is what she did to me, and all I did was spit at her.
Yeah, well, I know you're screwed when you're in that position.
Yeah, you know, and you know, what can I do?
Well, you know, but here's another piece of advice I've given men, based on my own experience.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in a situation where a woman comes out of the house, it looks like she's going to commit some violent act against you, run away.
Yeah.
Run away.
Yeah, that's what...
Don't try to show what a man you are, because if you stay there, the cops will come and you will go to jail.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I like, you know, I was like, I've learned so much. It's like, okay, if you're starting, you know, an argument, like in a first relationship already, once a relationship is starting, well, the first fight already, man, you just got to tell her, you know what, I don't like this. The second time you guys fight... First time, out. Yeah, you know, it's like, even though you might say, oh, this is the first time, whatever, BS, man, leave.
Out.
You gotta leave, man, exactly.
Out immediately. Don't be sick like they are. Get out.
Yeah, because that's what I've learned, like, so much, man. It's like, listening to you, going to those classes, like, you do kind of help, but it's like, you know what, sometimes you try to tell them what your problem is, and they'll talk about something else.
Yeah, all right, well, you know the deal. Good luck. Thanks very much for the call. Sorry that that happened. Yikes.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis, only on...
This is the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles at 1-800-5800-TOM, new studies say that men are not the only violent ones in relationships. So are women. They say maybe men inflict more damage, but that women are involved too. And our system only blames men, and we got to do something about that. What do you think about that? Mike on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, Tom. I was with a woman, and things were real physical, and we got divorced, and I do have children with her, so I do still have to deal with her. Now, one of my friends is an officer, and he told me to start carrying my own bail bondsman, and I was like, what the hell is that? And it's a digital recorder. Every time I deal with that woman, I carry this digital recorder with me, and it actually came into play about a month ago. I went to drop off my kids. She came out, started screaming about something, then started pushing me, and then, you know, I'm telling her, stop pushing me, started hitting me, stuff like that. Then she calls the cops. The cops show up quickly with like 3 cars ready to cart me off to jail. I asked them if they wanted to hear this digital recorder and hear what really happened. The guy was like, sure. So he listens to it, and then they were going to take her ass to jail. Because she lied and made a false report, a false accusation. They actually heard what was going on that tape. Me telling her, stop hitting me. She was telling me, no, not unless you do whatever she wanted. I don't know what it was, but, you know, I mean, it was you got to cover your own ass by doing things like that. I would suggest all men, if they have to deal with an
And
ex.
when did you get your divorce?
3 years ago.
Uh-huh. Good.
I'm happy. I'm single, and I stay out of jail.
Yeah, well, good for you. Good for you, and what a tragedy that people have to do things like that.
Yeah, it is a tragedy, but it's better than going to jail every time, because they will take you to jail immediately, and it is a felony charge.
Been there. Thank you, Mike.
Blow me up, Tom.
Here you go, pal. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Lee on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom. How
Hello.
you doing?
I'm okay, Lee.
I got 2 words, flashback. When you were telling the story about what you went through 10 years ago, I went through that 3 years ago. $3,500 later, I still have a misdemeanor battery charge on my record. I was arrested by her, not the police, by her, citizen's arrest. She flipped out one night. We were breaking up, and she obviously didn't want to break up, so she flipped out, screamed, and the neighbors called the police, and needless to say, I was arrested. Wow. And I didn't touch her. And I got to go through the whole year of anger management class.
Isn't that wonderful?
Well, $3,000 later, it's...
you know how much mine cost me?
Probably around 5.
No. Not just my anger management class. My lawyer and everything. $22,000.
I guess I got off cheap. Well, the thing is...
$22,000. And by the way, there was not even somebody to testify against me. It was pretty much agreed by everybody concerned that what I was accused of, I didn't do.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Tom. I found out as the months went on and in and out of the courtroom that she had a past of taking antidepressants, all kinds of different things. And the thing about it was to pull medical records and all that stuff, I had to pay more money. And it was just like, it's the cost of money. How much money do you have? That's ultimately what will get you off. And, to this... Well,
you hear your story. You hear about Robert Blake.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, my opinion, Robert Blake did it, okay? That's my opinion. But still, you hear all these stories of guys who get involved in relationships with chicks and then find out what happened in the past. I almost believe you have to hire a private investigator when you meet somebody.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Tom. If I could give any advice to anyone, the minute a woman flips out about anything, leave, because that's only a path of destruction. Because the classes I went through, I'd say 70% of the men in there were in there because of the same reason I was. I mean, granted, there was a handful that actually hit their women, but the majority rules that they were all sitting in there kind of for the same reasons I was.
And they were all told that they're in denial, right?
Everybody was sitting there going, what the hell are we doing here?
If you don't admit you did it, you'll never get out. That's what they tell you.
Exactly. But yeah, I heard you talking about that. I just wanted to say, God, it's about time, somebody's taking a, look at the other side, because, I've never laid a hand on a woman, and it sucks to be living with that on your record. It's not a felony. Originally, I had all these charges against me, but my attorney obviously, sifted through all the crap and got them dropped down to a misdemeanor. But still, I still have to go pay $2,500 to have that expunged.
Ugh.
So it's not. I mean, I had to move. I moved counties. I got away from her because she was calling me after the fact.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Come back. I need you.
Oh yeah. It was amazing. She was calling me.
Who's the sick one?
Yeah, thank you. I had to move. I got out of there. And
you convicted, violent criminal, you, and she had to have you back.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Needless to say, I got a call from her about a year ago, and I saw the number, and I swear to God, the hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I changed my number right then. She had tracked me down through one of my friends.
Oh.
So,
my.
But Tom, thanks a lot, and blow me up.
Here you go, Lee.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM. That's your telephone number. Chris on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
Pretty good, Chris.
All right. Man, I just got to say, you guys totally hit the nail on the head. I have been with quite a few women that just have outrageous tempers, and when they lose their tempers, men get hurt. I mean, fingernails, anything they can grab, throw at you, you know, just trying to get you to hit them or get a rise out of you or something. Just,
yeah, this idea that men inflict more damage, I just think women report more damage.
Way.
It's like how the car insurance companies tell you that women are better drivers than men. You have to wonder how many times a woman is pulled over by a cop and she unbuttons her top button and says, "Yes, officer, I didn't know I was speeding," and gets out of a ticket. Does anyone really believe women are better drivers than men? Come on.
No. Why do you think men are always driving when women are in the car? I mean, you know, they know that men are better drivers. You know, they feel safer. I mean, I've got plenty of scars from my last girlfriend. I was living with her for about 3 years.
Here's another one. Ever been through this one, Chris?
What's that?
Well, everybody listening, everybody at some point in time has driven drunk. Have you ever been with a chick you were drinking with, and she said, "Why don't you drive?"
Oh, yeah, they try and get you to drive, you know. That way they don't have to risk the ticket.
You drive. But how many guys say yes?
Not me, man.
Come on, you drive. Yeah, and then they tell us that women are better drivers than men. You know, come on.
Of course.
Please.
Yeah, I just, you know, I heard you on the radio, and man, you guys definitely hit the nail on the head, because this is just, I mean, her parents kept telling her that, oh, he's not treating you right, and blah, 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 and all her friends are telling her this, and I'm sitting here, if you guys only knew the real story, you know, I'd try and leave and get in my car. She would follow me downstairs, and she had a spare key to my car, get in the passenger's door, and I'd say, "Can you get out of my car?" No, not until we talk. I'm like, "Look, I'm trying to cool down, you know. I just want to get away from you for a while." No. So I'd get out of the car. She'd get out of the car. I'd get back in the car. She'd get back in the car. You know, they're just pushing your buttons, trying to get you to snap. And then when the police would get called or something, they'd come in. They're going straight for you, you know. Did he hit you? Did he hit you? Did he hit you? And you're the one sitting there bleeding and stuff, you know. It's like, hello, you know, do you guys get it?
Yeah, I understand. Chris, I understand. I thank you, Chuck, on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Chuck, hello.
I'm a victim, Tom.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Well, to make a long story short, I'm in a band, and one of our shows got out a little bit later than it was supposed to, and I'm older, so I don't need to cheat. I got all my banging done when I was young. And came home, the leash was a little too tight, if you know what I mean, and came home about half an hour later than I said, and slept on the couch in order to not be yelled at all night, and I wasn't in the mood. Woke up the next morning, she jumps on my chest and asked me what time I got home, and I was honest with her. I said I got home at 2 o'clock. She's like, "You're supposed to be home at 1:30. Long story short, she starts trashing the house. She's a spicy little Latina girl. You know how those Latinas are.
I do.
And she started throwing stuff and breaking stuff and throwing stuff at me. And I told her, "Hey, look, if you don't knock it off, I'm going to call the cops. I'm not stupid." And it's my house. I share it with, well, my mom and I own it together. And she elected to keep throwing stuff and breaking stuff, so I just called the police to have her removed. Well, in the meanwhile, she threw some shoes and finally a picture frame at me, and they hit me in the back. Cops show up, and they, of course, put me in the cuffs at first. And when we broke it all down, they asked, did it leave any marks on you or anything? And I said, "No, I don't think so. Where'd it hit you?" I said, "Well, in the back." He said, "Well, turn around, pull up your shirt." I pulled up my shirt. I had a 4-inch bruise on my shoulder blade. And they said, "You don't have any choice, son. She's going to jail." Because now in California, ever since the whole OJ thing, any marks or anything like that, it's not up to pressing charges, because I didn't want to press charges. She had slapped me around a little bit before, but, I'm a man. I can take that. So anyway, they put her in cuffs and put her away.
And you got the divorce when?
Actually, we didn't.
Why not?
Well, I've been married to her for 4 years. She's, crazy enough, she's Jehovah's Witness. End of story on that. But, we got along pretty good, and she just was a little possessive, and I told her I'd give her one.
That's not a little possessive. That's insanity.
Yeah, I agree.
And you said she's hit you before.
Yeah, she sure has.
Why do you tolerate that?
That's a good question. She knows one more time, and that's it. But I'm not stupid enough to take my hands out of my pocket.
But one more time might be it for you. You might go to prison next time.
Well,
she might figure out how to get away with it next time.
Yeah, she might. But, I don't think she's that clever. Come on, she's a Jehovah's Witness. She can't be that clever. But,
And that's your wife you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, she's not that clever.
No, she's not. And just with all the background and everything, man, I know it's not happening.
So your wife is a stupid, violent Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, aren't Jehovah's Witnesses supposed to be all about peace?
They sure are.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, like you were saying earlier, her mom used to hit her dad. So it was definitely...
That doesn't make it okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's where she learned the behavior was from her mother.
But aren't you worried that this will happen again?
No, basically I'm not worried.
Aren't you worried that the next time they will arrest you?
Well, I'm not dumb enough to hit her back, Tom.
It doesn't matter. You know, guys get arrested with no evidence.
Well, I was smart enough to at least know that she had no marks on her. And believe me, if she had hurt herself or something like that, I would have ran like crazy.
And Brett made a good point. You could get Phil Hartman. That's exactly right.
You could what now?
You know who Phil Hartman was?
Oh, yeah, that would be lovely.
Well, that could happen to you.
Well, I might have to do some second thinking then. But that's just the point I
wouldn't tolerate that. I'd be out the door. And by the way, what was it like when she got out of jail? Did she hit you then, too?
Oh, no. She knows the deal. It scared the hell out of her. And that's what I wanted to call for all you students out there. I agree with you. The first time it happens, you should be out of it. Again, I'm a little bit older, and I've been married for a while.
Chuck, you're a lot younger than I am.
Oh, I agree.
You know what? When it happens, trust me, you just get out.
Yeah, if there's any sign like that, I'm not even going to wait.
You're in a band, you can get chicks. What are you worried about? Out.
I agree, Professor. Maybe I got to think about it twice.
All right, well, good luck to you, Chuck.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
My roommate and I went to this bar, and we need a good-looking chick and an ugly chick. So to figure out who's going to get the ugly one, we do paper, rock, scissors. I lost. She says, you don't have to do this. So I said, well, a bet's a bet.
Why would you make a bet like that?
When you drink, you do stupid things.
That's all I wanted to know.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis. Only on Hot.
Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Eric on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, Tom, how you doing, man?
Okay, Eric.
All right, so here it goes. I was in a volatile marriage, but like a smart guy, I got out of it. I'm not going to get into the corn throwing, because I walk in late and all that stuff, the hot pots of this and that. But 2 years later, I'm divorced. I'm, living my life, doing my thing. She finds out, or she, suspects that I'm sleeping with this white girl. She's Jamaican, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
She comes to my house at 10 o'clock at night. I'm in the bed. I come to the door with my boxers on. She starts, going crazy, this and that. How you going to sleep with a white girl? And I'm like, you know what? I do what I want to do. I divorced her. I gave you everything 2 years ago. Stay out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
She comes in my house, because like a dumbass, I left the door open. She comes in my house and she starts grabbing on me and punching me and stuff. And we fought. In the process, she pulls me and I fell on her outside. And then she rolls over. She commences to keep going. My neighbor comes out, pulls her off me. I won't hit her. She grabs my phone. Calls 911 on my phone, then hangs the phone up and slams it on the ground, breaks it, runs home and calls 911 from her house. The police come to my house. They start asking me all kind of questions. I said, well, my ex-wife, I told them exactly what happened. They left, my house and went over to her place because I guess she was the next on their list of calls. Arrested her on the spot because I'm all bloody and bruised up. Then they come back and arrest me because in the process of falling, she skinned her knee and they said that because she was bleeding, I had to go to jail. Now, I can't tell you how bitter I was when I'm sitting up there in the cell all night. They have her in the guard's office on the couch sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Now, tell me, how was I feeling?
Well, I completely understand. Believe me, I've been on that bench in jail, sitting there, not being able to sleep. I've been there. I know. Now, Eric, how long did it take you to dump her ass after you got out?
Oh, well, I had already been broken up with her for 2 years. We're 2 years divorced already.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and she just came to my house, I guess because one of her friends told her about
who does she think she is to be upset about what you're doing 2 years after you broke up? It's none of her goddamn business.
None of her goddamn business. But, hey, you know what? I went there. I talked to the judge. They took the pictures of me and her. The judge took a look at that. He said, you know what? I'm not going to put you through any classes. I'm not going to prosecute you or anything. They dropped that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I showed up to court one time. They said, this is bull. You know what else? And then that was it. And that was the end. But when you start talking about this today, I said, this is my subject. I listen to you all the time. I never call. But this one right here, I had to say something. Because there's a lot of guys out there that go through the same BS that I go through, the same crap. That these, you know, the possessive ones, you know what I'm saying? Don't let one of us get possessive. Yeah. We get possessive, and then, you know, we're crazy. We're sick in the head.
That's right. But when they do it, it's just normal for chicks. That's right. Eric, thank you for telling us your story.